Welcome back to Tales of History. Join us as we dive into part 2 of our exploration of Napoleon Bonaparte's life. In part 1, we delved into his early years and rise to power. Today, we'll focus on his military campaigns, dramatic downfall, and enduring legacy. We'll explore the battles he fought after becoming Emperor of France, starting with his conflicts with Britain, the Continental Blockade, the Peninsular Campaign, and the consolidation of his empire. We'll then examine the disastrous invasion of Russia, his abdication, the brief return during the 100 Days, and his final exile. Lastly, we'll reflect on the legend of Napoleon and the lessons we can learn from his extraordinary life. Napoleon's coronation as Emperor of the French in 1804 intensified the ongoing conflict with Britain. The British Royal Navy remained a formidable adversary, commanding the seas and disrupting French trade. The Battle of Trafalgar in 1805 was a significant defeat for Napoleon, where Admiral Horatio Nelson's fleet decisively defeated the combined French and Spanish navies. This naval loss ensured British supremacy at sea and thwarted Napoleon's plans to invade Britain. To counter British naval dominance, Napoleon instituted the Continental Blockade in 1806, an economic strategy aimed at crippling Britain's trade by closing European ports to British goods. This policy, known as the Continental System, strained relations with neutral and allied nations, leading to widespread smuggling and economic hardship. In 1808, Napoleon turned his attention to the Iberian Peninsula. He invaded Spain and Portugal to enforce the blockade and secure his grip on Europe. This incursion, known as the Peninsular War, became a protracted and brutal conflict. The Spanish guerrilla warfare and British forces, led by the Duke of Wellington, inflicted severe losses on the French army. The Peninsular Campaign drained French resources and morale, marking the beginning of Napoleon's decline. Despite setbacks, Napoleon continued to consolidate his empire through strategic marriages, alliances, and the establishment of satellite states across Europe. He reorganized the territories he conquered, spreading the Napoleonic Code and modernizing administration. However, his aggressive expansionism fostered resentment and resistance among occupied nations, sowing the seeds of future uprisings. In 1812, Napoleon launched his most ambitious campaign, the invasion of Russia. Assembling the Grande Armée, a multinational force of over 600,000 soldiers, he aimed to compel Tsar Alexander I to rejoin the Continental System. The campaign began successfully, with the French advancing deep into Russian territory. However, the Russians employed scorched earth tactics, destroying supplies and retreating deeper into the vast landscape. The decisive turning point came at the Battle of Borodino, a bloody and indecisive confrontation. Napoleon's forces eventually captured Moscow, but the city had been abandoned and set ablaze by the retreating Russians. Facing starvation, harsh winter conditions, and relentless guerrilla attacks, Napoleon ordered a disastrous retreat. The Grande Armée suffered catastrophic losses, with only a fraction of the soldiers returning to France. The Russian campaign's failure marked the beginning of Napoleon's downfall. The Sixth Coalition, comprising Britain, Russia, Prussia, Austria, and other European powers, united against him. In 1813, Napoleon faced a series of defeats in the War of the Sixth Coalition, culminating in the decisive Battle of Leipzig, also known as the Battle of Nations. The relentless pressure from coalition forces and internal dissent forced Napoleon to abdicate on April 6, 1814. Exiled to the Mediterranean island of Elba, Napoleon was granted sovereignty over the small territory but remained restless and ambitious. In February 1815, he escaped Elba and returned to France, initiating the period known as the 100 Days. Napoleon swiftly regained support, rallied an army, and re-established his rule. The European powers, shocked by his return, quickly mobilized their forces. The decisive confrontation came at the Battle of Waterloo on June 18, 1815. Located in present-day Belgium, this battle would determine the fate of Europe. Napoleon faced the combined British and Prussian armies, led by the Duke of Wellington and Field Marshal Blucher, respectively. On June 16th, 2 days before the main battle, Napoleon's forces engaged the Prussians at the Battle of Ligny, achieving a tactical victory but failing to destroy the Prussian army. Simultaneously, Marshal Ney fought the British at the Battle of Quatre Bras, resulting in a stalemate. Despite these engagements, the Prussians managed to retreat in good order, setting the stage for their crucial role at Waterloo. The battlefield of Waterloo was strategically chosen by Wellington. He positioned his forces on a ridge with a sunken road and fortified farmhouses, such as Hougoumont, La Haye-Sainte, and Papelotte, providing strong defensive positions. On the morning of June 18th, heavy rain had turned the ground into a quagmire, delaying Napoleon's attack until the field dried. Around 11:30 a.m., Napoleon launched his first assault on Hougoumont, aiming to draw British reserves into the fight. Despite repeated French attacks, the British and their allies held firm, using the strong defensive position to their advantage. In the early afternoon, Napoleon directed a massive infantry attack against the center of Wellington's line. The French columns advanced under heavy artillery fire, but were met with disciplined volleys from the British infantry. The French assault was repelled with significant losses. Recognizing the need to break Wellington's center, Napoleon ordered a cavalry charge led by Marshal Ney. Thousands of French cavalrymen surged forward, but they were met by well-prepared British infantry forming defensive squares. The British held their ground, and the French cavalry failed to break their lines. As the battle raged on, Prussian forces under Field Marshal Blucher began to arrive on Napoleon's right flank. The Prussian advance threatened to envelop the French army, adding immense pressure on Napoleon's stretched forces. Desperate to break Wellington's center before the Prussians could fully engage, Napoleon committed his elite Imperial Guard in a final, decisive assault. The Guard, considered invincible, advanced through the smoke and chaos. However, they were met by fierce resistance from the British and Allied troops. The Guard's advance faltered and eventually broke under the relentless musket and artillery fire. With the Imperial Guard retreating, the morale of the French army collapsed. Wellington's forces launched a counterattack, pushing the French into a chaotic retreat. Blucher's Prussians joined the pursuit, ensuring the French defeat was total. Following his defeat at Waterloo, Napoleon was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. Isolated and under constant surveillance, he spent his final years writing memoirs, reflecting on his life, and dictating his version of events. Over time, his health deteriorated, and he died on May 5, 1822. Napoleon's final words reportedly were, "France, armée, tête d'armée," which is translated to France, army, head of the army. Napoleon Bonaparte's legacy is a complex blend of admiration and controversy. He is celebrated as a military genius, a reformer who modernized France, and a charismatic leader who inspired loyalty and devotion. His legal and administrative reforms, particularly the Napoleonic Code, had a lasting impact on legal systems worldwide. However, his relentless ambition and wars of conquest brought immense suffering and devastation across Europe. Napoleon's legacy is also marked by his authoritarian rule, which stifled political freedoms and perpetuated conflict. The life of Napoleon Bonaparte offers several profound lessons. His rise from obscurity to the pinnacle of power demonstrates the impact of ambition, talent, and determination. His military strategies continue to be studied for their brilliance and innovation. However, Napoleon's downfall underscores the perils of overreach and the consequences of unrestrained ambition. His inability to consolidate his vast empire and the resulting conflicts highlight the importance of sustainable leadership and diplomacy. In conclusion, Napoleon's story is a testament to the heights of human potential and the depths of human folly. His legacy remains a subject of fascination, debate, and reflection. offering timeless insights into the nature of power, leadership, and the human condition. From his meteoric rise as Emperor of France to his dramatic downfall, Napoleon Bonaparte's life is a tale of ambition, brilliance, and ultimate decline. His battles, campaigns, and reforms left an indelible mark on history, shaping the course of Europe and inspiring future generations. This concludes our two-part series on Napoleon Bonaparte. Join us next time as we explore more historical figures and their enduring legacies. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Tales of History for more captivating historical content.